Ngakumbilendawo nathi imbilendawo imbilendawo ngakumbilendawo nathi imbilendawo. Let injustice be removed.
We are here as Jewish South Africans to acknowledge that the Nakba took place. This is the forest that we planted, whether we like it or not, whether we knew it or not. The money that we donated to the JNF bought the seeds that grew into these trees that cover your houses, your wells, and your sacred places. While this forest may be an attempt to erase the memory of Lubya, there can be no denying what happened here. These stones, these graves, these wells, these cacti plants are all bearing witness. Now, as Jewish South Africans, we've come here to this forest and to the ruins of Lubya in order to acknowledge and take responsibility for this injustice.
Because I think when you have been complicit in erasing really a great crime, but you don't know that you're complicit. You don't know that your trees are wiping out, and you don't know that there was a crime. So there are three layers of denial and of not knowing, really of ignorance. Sometimes it's very convenient ignorance. I think we can't forget that. But sometimes it's really an innocent ignorance. And so to hear and to be open to hearing that, I think is a difficult process.
I think that it would also be a mistake to underestimate what it means for Jews and Lubyan Palestinians to do an action like this.
It's not just a question of continuing to oppress, continuing to push out the other. We need to recognize the hardships, we need to recognize the pain, the suffering.
It is hard to know that you're doing this, at a time when there really is not much discussion on a just solution in Palestine.
تكتشفي انه تحت وراق الشجر في كتير، يعني شجر السرو هذا اللي حطوه الصنوبر طبعا مع تساقطه عمل طبقه كبيره، بس بتكتشفوا انت عم بتنظف الزباله هاي، بتكتشف انه في بحس الواحد انه هون اصله، في حضارته هون كانت، هون جذوره كانت هون. بتلاقي شغلات من اثار القريه، بتلاقي مثلا الشاهد اللي مكسر الاناء تحت الحجار يعني مثلا.
And the trees here are only a symbol of covering up as the GNF in South Africa, they said we have no village and there is no history and it wasn't planned, only as part of the process of obliteration and annihilation of the history. It's only one part of 87 forests, parks in all Palestine were covered on the land. So South Africa forest is only one.
Forests have a particular significance for Jewish people because forests are often places or have been places where Jews themselves have been massacred. So when we grew up, we always heard about from our grandparents and aunts and uncles, and we heard of our own family who were shot in forests during the Second World War and around the time of the Holocaust.
Having understood and being involved in the struggle in South Africa, something didn't seem right to me. That we talk about justice, and justice in South Africa seemed to mean something different about justice in this area.
Milendao, Nakum Milendao, Enati, Milendao. Let racism be removed.
But there's more people who feel that, I don't know, liberation, return, all these important things are things that everyone collectively needs to work for. Then it will make a difference.
احنا واولادنا واولاد اولادنا حتى الاجيال اللي ما سمعت حكاوي ستي وجدي برضه متمسكه بالعوده وبتحلم بهذا اليوم.
زي ما قلت سابقا يعني انه متاخره بس مليحه، يعني ان شاء الله بالمستقبل يكون في خطوات اكبر من هيك، يعني مجموعات اكبر، امكانيات اكبر.
I always remember what Desmond Tutu said, his famous words that if you're neutral in a situation of injustice, then you've chosen to side with the oppressor. And as South African Jews, and like Jews around the world, we can't run away from the fact that we are implicated in what has happened here. And that this tragedy was done in our name, whether we like it or not.
The fact that, you know, I am also responsible for their displacement is something that I will never be able to really compensate for, but to at least be able to commit to working to try and at least fix things for the future as much as possible, and at least to be able to come here with them, in partnership with them, and say, I'm willing to stop overlooking this.
I really hope that in some small way this is meaningful to the people of Lubya.
إن كانت تحكي لنا بالتفاصيل عن ما حدث في النكبة وبالتفاصيل عن لوبي كجغرافيا وكتاريخ.
Old people of Lubya drew from their memory a mental map of the village of Lubya, and this map is inside. You can see that map in the booklet that we published today, and you can see the roads of the village and the houses of the village as the old people in the Yarmouk refugee camp remember before the Nakba.
كان أبوي وأمي الله يرحمني يحكوا لنا كثير عن فلسطين وعن لوبيا.
Will be Yusuf لهون؟
نعم.
Your father.
نعم. Here, living, my father.
This tragedy was done in our name, whether we like it or not. And I think that's why we can't ignore it. We can't pretend that we don't have a responsibility. And that's why it's so important for us to come here and to make amends, and then to go back to South Africa and to Jewish communities around the world, and to make sure that Jews acknowledge the trauma and the pain that was caused in our name and try to redress it.
Let oppression be